working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello, I'm Alma Angeles. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. We're coming to you live from Manila and Thailand. Hello, Esther.
Hi, Alma. I'm Esther Odanga from EBC Thailand Bureau, bringing you the news in the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines, President Duterte will not cooperate with the International Criminal Court's probe into the drug war, according to his lawyer, insisting the tribunal does not have jurisdiction in the country.
Students and teachers in Phnom Penh return to classrooms as schools reopen in areas deemed at low risk of COVID-19.
And migrant workers visited Singapore's Little India neighborhood after more than a year of being confined to their dormitories as authorities ease coronavirus curves.
Gains in the vaccination program of countries where overseas Filipino workers are, along with economic recovery around the world, are expected to further boost remittance growth in the Philippines.
First, here in the country, President Duterte will not cooperate with the International Criminal Court's probe into the drug war, according to his lawyer, insisting the tribunal does not have jurisdiction in the country. Take a look. Now, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo slammed the blatant and brazen attempt of the International Criminal Court to meddle in the Philippines' domestic affairs, particularly its handling of the rampant illegal drug trade in the country. This after the ICC has formally authorized an official investigation into the alleged commission of crime against humanity associated with President Duterte's anti-narcotics crackdown. In a press statement on Thursday, Panelo maintained that the ICC has no and never had jurisdiction over the Philippines and its citizens. He said, quote, "Our position concerning the proceedings before the International Criminal Court remains. The foreign institution has no, as it never had, jurisdiction over the affairs of the Republic of the Philippines and its people. Hence, the ICC's latest move neither bothers nor troubles the president and his administration, according to Panelo. The ICC's pretrial chamber approved Wednesday the request of its former chief prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, to authorize the full-blown probe into Duterte's drug war, even after the Philippines already cut ties with the International Tribunal. Panelo said it was apparent that the ICC was bent on proceeding with a case against Philippine government officials, a move that is in violation, quote, of our Constitution and in contravention with the Rome Statute that it created. He also questioned the timing of the ICC's decision against the Duterte government, saying the International Tribunal is being used as a political and propaganda apparatus by Duterte's detractors who will do anything to dethrone the president from his seat. In Thailand, parents were given until September 24 to get their children before school vaccinated. Here live with us is Gladys Peñuela. Hello, Gladys.
Hello, Alma. Now, Alma, September 24 will be the final day for parents to decide whether or not to let their children be inoculated before the school reopens. This was according to the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, or CCSA, which posted the set date for parents to give their consent. On a voluntary basis, students from 12 to 17 years old will be provided Pfizer vaccine by the government. Schools will conduct a meeting with parents about the policy starting Friday until Wednesday, and they need to come up with a final decision on September 24 as the date posted by the CCSA. On September 25th, all schools are required to send a list of students who will get jobs to the education office in their provinces. This vaccination campaign, which targets 4 to 5 million students, will start on October 4. The Ministry of Education stated that around 30% of teachers have not been vaccinated so they plan to initiate it before classes open. A total of 27 million people, or 38% of Thailand's population, already got the first dose. Those pregnant women, senior citizens, and people with chronic diseases were target groups given priority by this vaccination campaign, and now they are expanding it to students. Schools will reopen tentatively on November 1, according to the ministry. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you, Gladys. Hopefully, school will open as scheduled, and everyone that's supposed to be vaccinated will be. Thank you very much, Gladys. Waiting for your updates always.
Let's cross our fingers to that, Alma. I'll get back to you on that. Well, from Thailand, this is Gladys Pinuela. We live in interesting times.
Staying in Thailand, Phuket health officials will use only 20% of the standard vaccine dose of AstraZeneca for the third dose booster shots and will administer the vaccine doses as subdermal injections, not intramuscular injections, to boost the recipient's immunity. We have Ian Celada for this report. Hi, Ian.
Hello, good afternoon, Esther, and to all our viewers. Yes, a subdermal injections of 20% of the standard AstraZeneca vaccine for the booster shot will be practiced in the island, according to Phuket health officials, to boost the receiver's immunity. In the press conference, Dr. Chalimpong Sukantal stated that this motion is in accordance with a study conducted by the medical officers in Vajra Phuket Hospital. Dr. Vitita and Dr. Supalak Longpitch have started off a research to look for another way in providing the booster shot or third dose in the island. According to Dr. Vitita, they had 242 participants, aged 18 to 60, and separated into two different groups. For the first group, there are 120 participants that were injected to 0.5 ml intramuscularly or in the muscle. And for the second group, they were injected 0.1 ml subcutaneously just under the skin. And after the injection, they develop a slightly higher rate of immunity. And the other group, they also had less side effect than usually intramuscular injection. In addition to this, subcutaneous injection developed more irritation and redness in the injection site, but the Phuket health official said it's nothing to worry about. According to Dr. Vidita, we will begin providing the booster shot of vaccine by subcutaneous injection to 200,000 people who receive 2 doses of Sinovac. This may be an important method to solve the insufficiency of vaccine doses in many countries while the Delta variant cases are increasing. And also, Esther, here's the latest COVID update here in the island of Phuket. The latest Phuket Provincial Public Health Office daily COVID situation report has marked 244 new local infections confirmed across the island yesterday, bringing 7,826 the total number of people recognized as infected with COVID-19 in Phuket since April 3. And the PPHO report, marked as the accurate as 10:30 p.m. last night, reported 2 new infections among Sandbox tourist arrivals, and 3,549 people were under medical care or supervision, an increase of 71 from 3,478 reported the day before. And also the PPHO daily COVID situation report also marked currently in total 2,542 beds available for COVID patients. And the total number of hospital beds occupied by COVID patients in Phuket now stand at 2,266, or 89.4% of the total number of beds. The number of hospital beds remaining available rose by 19 from 257 to 276, representing 10.86 of the total number of beds designated for the COVID patients. Back to you, Esther.
Thank you, Ian, for that update. But how about you, Ian? Have they been giving schedules for the booster shots?
Yes, our company already gave the appointment, but right now they prioritize first the Thai people. So after the Thai people, they're gonna give us the dose. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that update. Stay safe and stay healthy, Ian.
Yes, you too, Esther. Reporting live from Phuket, Thailand, this is Ian Salada, and we'll live in interesting times.
Now, students and teachers in Phnom Penh return to classrooms as schools reopen in areas deemed at low risk of COVID-19. First, let's listen in.
និយាយទៅទោះបីនៅកំឡុងពេលហ្នឹងគាត់រដ្ឋាភិបាលបានអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យយើងចូលសាលាវិញយើងបានចូលជុំមិត្តភ័ក្តិក៏ពិតមែនតែយើងនៅតែរក្សាគម្លាតពីគ្នាអញ្ចឹងព្រោះអីយើងឃើញថា COVID នេះគឺអត់ទាន់បាត់ 100% ទេអញ្ចឹងយើងនៅតែការពារទាំងអស់គ្នាដដែល
បាទយើងបើកតែថ្នាក់ដែលប្រឡងសម្រាប់ថ្នាក់ទី 12 និងថ្នាក់ទី 9 បាទហើយនៅក្នុងនោះគឺយើងមានចែកជាមួយថ្នាក់គឺ 15 នាក់
Now, Cambodian schools have been closed nationwide since late February when the Southeast Asian kingdom was hit by a COVID-19 outbreak that was first detected among its Chinese expatriate community. According to the Vietnam News, to prevent the risk of a COVID-19 outbreak in schools, the Cambodian Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports has set strict health and safety precautions and regulations and plans for handling such situations. Accordingly, each school must organize a separate medical room with enough equipment for use in case of emergency. Schools are allowed to suspend classroom activities if a transmission is detected among students. Each school must check the temperature of all students, staff, teachers, and visitors before entering the school. Teachers, students, and staffs are required to wear masks at all times before entering the school, and each school needs to prepare bins for discarded masks. Food sales on and off campus are prohibited until further notice. The country has vaccinated more than 97% of over 18s and more than 80% of children over the age of 12.
Now, going back to the Philippines, the Quezon City government is looking into the possible cause of the COVID-19 outbreak in a convent in the city after 114 persons have been infected. A total of 64 nuns and 50 of their staff of lay partners, health aides, caregivers, a nurse, and drivers of the Congregation of the Religious of the Virgin Mary or RVM located in Cubao yielded positive swab test results. Quezon City's Epidemiology and Disease Surveillance Unit, or CESU, said Wednesday that 22 of those infected are asymptomatic, 86 experiencing mild symptoms, 4 are moderate, and 2 are severe and currently in the intensive care unit. No one among the nuns have been vaccinated against COVID-19 after they canceled their vaccination schedule, the CESU said. The staff, however, have been fully vaccinated. Upon learning about the outbreak, the city carried out massive contact tracing to contain the further spread of the disease. The city government learned about the situation only after the cases have been recorded in the city's surveillance data, as reported by a testing laboratory. CSU Chief Dr. Rolando Cruz said.
The bulk of COVID-19 vaccine deliveries this September will come from U.S. manufacturers Pfizer and Moderna, as more than 14.89 million doses are expected to arrive in the country in the coming weeks. Take a look. Now, this was announced by National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Secretary, Vaccine Czar, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., following the reallocation notice from the COVAX facility, as well as the latest update from Moderna on the deliveries of government and private sector sector procured vaccines, rather. According to the letter sent to task force officials, the additional doses were due to the standard reallocation process of the facility. 2 batches of the Moderna vaccine are due to arrive on September 19. The Philippines has secured a total of 20 million doses from Moderna, of which 13 million doses were procured by the national government, while 7 million doses were by the private sector. As of September 15, a total of 1.29 million doses were delivered to the country.
In Vietnam, President Nguyen Xuan Phuc expressed appreciation to the government and people of Japan for their valuable assistance towards combating the COVID-19 in Vietnam. During his phone conversation with Japanese Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide on Wednesday, President Nguyen also thanked Japan for having decided to gift Vietnam with additional 400,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses, raising the total vaccine donations to 3.58 million doses. He affirmed Vietnam will continue to stand side by side with business community, including Japanese investors, to restore production and maintain supply chain. Nguyen took the occasion to congratulate Japan on successful organization of the Olympic and Paralympic Tokyo 2020, the symbol of solidarity to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. Japanese Prime Minister Suga said his country will continue assistance for Vietnam's fight against the pandemic. Suga thanked Vietnam for giving vaccines to Japan nationals and supporting Japanese businesses in the Southeast Asian country. He asked Nguyen to convey his greetings to Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong and other senior Vietnamese leaders.
In other news, migrant workers visited Singapore's Little India's neighborhood today, or yesterday rather, after more than a year of being confined to their dormitories as authorities ease coronavirus curbs. Let's take a look.
I feel now okay because I'm so long never come out because room always very boring. So I buy something, okay, of course I'm very happy. Today I buy something, just see my friends, buy something, go to take dinner, or buy something that will pray moose. That almost finish, I'm going back my home. Of course outside because I very long cannot go out. Of course outside, sometimes I'm not feeling well.
So we are now more than 90% of workers being vaccinated in the dormitories, and together with the high vaccination rate in the community, I think this allow us the opportunity to do this pilot today.
The workers have largely been restricted to traveling between their places of residence and work since April last year, after their cramped dorms became the center of Singapore's initial virus outbreak. The curbs imposed on the mostly South Asian workers have been far stricter than those faced by most other people in the prosperous city-state. Under a pilot program run by the government, up to 500 vaccinated workers are now allowed to visit selected locations for 6 hours each week. On Wednesday, the first batch of around 100 made a trip to the city-state's vibrant Little India area, home to shops selling goods from South Asia and restaurants serving food from the region. The decision to start the trips came after growing criticism about keeping the migrants largely confined to the dorms. However, rights group Transient Workers Count 2 has said the move does not go so far enough, so few of the city-state's tens of thousands of migrant workers can participate. And the news continues here on Eagle News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First, let's go out a little bit of the ASEAN bloc and let's go to Maldives, where a minister there says the variety of drugs abused in the island nation have significantly increased. Here's Steffi Diwan joining us live for that report. Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon. Yes, Health Minister Ahmad Nasim has stated that the varieties of drugs of use in the Maldives have significantly increased over the years, with drugs such as meth being available for free. He also mentioned that most drugs are trafficked from European countries. Most drugs are trafficked from Europe now. Meth smuggled into the country is literally available for free. I have no idea where this has been supplied from, he said. Health Ministry Deputy Minister Safia Muhammad Said also added that a significant change has been observed in the types of drugs trafficked into the Maldives. In this regard, Safia noted that around 10 years ago, Maldivians were mainly abusing natural drugs, and adding the use of chemical drugs has now become more common. Accordingly, she cites meth as a commonly used drug in the Maldives. Methamphetamine is a powerful, highly addictive stimulant that affects the central nervous system. It takes the form of a white, odorless, bitter-tasting crystalline powder that easily dissolves in water or alcohol, and was used originally in nasal decongestant and bronchial inhalers. Like amphetamine, methamphetamine causes increased activity and talkativeness, decreased appetite, and pleasurable sense of well-being or euphoria. And according to Health Ministry, the number of children addicted to drugs are increasing in Maldives, with the children as young as 8 years hooked on drugs. Safia said that while records show drugs abuse was most common among people between 22 years and 34 years back in 2014, the age category has expanded to 17 to 68 years old over recent years. Safia said that children and migrant workers are also being used to peddle drugs. Health Ministry's report shows not a single atoll in Maldives is free from drug abuse. A wide range of drugs are smuggled into Maldives, some of them via post. Health Minister Ahmad Nasim also mentioned that local officials do not know how to best reform the drug rehabilitation system in the Maldives, a country where roughly 70% of the prison population are drug offenders. Nasim said the work was with the assistance of technical experts in the field, and he has not made any decision against the advice of the experts. He said that specialist doctors in drug rehabilitation will be brought to Maldives soon. Stressing that drug offense is a national crisis, Nasim said that the authorities require support from the parliament. And that's my quick update from Maldives. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you, Steph, for that report. Stay safe and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting live from Maldives. This is Stephanie Juan. We live in interesting times.
In other news, anti-coup protesters in Myanmar said Wednesday they had destroyed 4 military-owned communications towers over the last week as demonstrators step up attacks on government infrastructures. Myanmar has been in chaos since the military toppled Aung San Suu Kyi's government in February, sparking huge democracy protests and a bloody junta crackdown. Since last Thursday, anti-junta fighters have destroyed 4 communications towers belonging to the military-owned Maitel in western Chin state, according to a spokesperson for the Zoland People's Defense Force. The continuing bloodshed has pushed some in the anti-coup movement to form such defense forces in their townships, made up of civilians who fight back against security forces, often with homemade weapons. The attacks on the towers near the town of Tedim, around 20 kilometers from the India border, were to block the sack from their money source. The spokesperson said using an acronym for the State Administration Council, as the junta calls itself. Local media also reported several towers belonging to Mytel, one of the country's 4 main cell networks, had been destroyed in Chin State in recent days.
In other news, a small cargo plane with 3 crew on board crashed into a mountain in Indonesia's jungle-clad region of Papua. Now, the Twin Otter 300 type aircraft run by local airline Rinboom Air was carrying construction material, and it lost contact about an hour after departing from Nabira Regency. Also, this is in Papua. Take a look. Now, the wreckage of the Twin Otter 300 aircraft was found by locals over 3 hours later near a village in the highlands. Images released by the rescue team on Wednesday show the debris strewn on the jungle floor. Indonesia's fast-growing aviation sector has long been marred by safety concerns, with its airlines once banned from U.S. and European airspace. A Boeing 737-500 operated by Indonesian carrier Sriwijaya Air plunged roughly 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters in less than a minute before crashing into waters off Jakarta earlier this year, killing 62 people on board. In October 2018, 189 people were killed when a Lion Air Boeing 737 MAX jet crashed near Jakarta.
Meanwhile, Indonesia, not among 10 countries with highest COVID cases. It's said that Indonesia is not among the 10 countries with highest number of COVID-19 cases globally, even though the nation's population is the 4th largest in the world. He said daily cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia have continued to decline sharply. On July 15, 2021, Indonesia had recorded a spike in cases, with daily cases reaching 56,000. He said as of September 12, 2021, Indonesia's daily transmission rate or positivity rate was 2.64%, which was better than the world average of 8.34%. He added they will continue to increase vaccinations, the speed of vaccinations. However, he said everyone must be vigilant, always be disciplined in implementing health protocols, and always wear masks.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Health reported that about 10 to 20% of COVID-19 patients in Thailand are suffering a post-syndrome, also known as long COVID symptoms after their recovery. Let's listen in.
Eligible. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about long COVID, because this is very important, and it's been reported in many countries, and also the WHO has been talking about long COVID for some time now. And our own Ministry of Public Health has reported that in Thailand we have about 10 to 20% of COVID-19 patients who are suffering a post-syndrome that we call not long COVID. So these long COVID symptoms are being experienced even after they have recovered from COVID-19. So long COVID will display symptoms of fatigue, of muscle pain, headaches, and depression. And these may occur from the body's reaction or side effects and drugs administered to the patients during treatment. And some conditions can linger beyond the period of treatment. There are also other factors that increase the prevalence of long COVID symptoms, such as age, obesity, and daily steroid use. And as statistics have shown, the symptoms will take about 6 months to a year to recover from. But of course, this will differ from each individual. However, these symptoms can be alleviated by vaccines. And people who have received COVID-19 vaccines have less chance of getting long COVID symptoms, and And as the vaccine provides protection against such long COVID symptoms, and therefore we'd like to stress that everyone should get vaccinated as soon as possible.
The Commission on Audit, or COA, on Wednesday said its audit report did not mention any overpricing in the procurement of personal protective equipment, or PPE, and other COVID-19 supplies made by the Department of Budget and Management Procurement Service, or PSDBM. During a hearing of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, COA Chairman Michael Aguinaldo said the observations made in the report pertained more to the inventory management of the PSDBM and does not say anything on the alleged overpricing of medical supplies. During the same hearing, former PSDBM Director and now Deputy Ombudsman Warren Leong said the medical supplies were not overpriced, noting that the prices were lower compared to the suggested retail price of the Department of Health. Let's watch this.
Ang masasabi ko lang po is wala po sa report ng PSDBM ang statement na may overpricing po. There's no statement to that. The observations related more to inventory management than overpricing.
Lahat ba ng 42 billion in award sa Pharmaly or a portion of this?
No, Your Honor. Around 8.8 billion were awarded in 2020 and another 2.9 billion were awarded in 2021.
Meron po kayong napaboran na kumpanya rito? Halimbawa, napaboran ba ninyo nang hindi nyo inaasahan ang mga Chinese companies at maaaring
Mr. Chairman, wala po tayong napaboran. Nung simula po ng pandemya, talagang hirap po ang supply dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya po, we had to go to China directly. And kaya po, karamihan naman po din ng face mask, kinukuha din po sa China.
Kasi lumalabas po sa mga aligasyon, kinorner daw ng Pharmaly itong 42 billion. But it seems that now, upon your statements, that hindi naman lahat ng 42 billion napunta kay Pharmaly.
Meron ba nag-utos sa DBM i-award ang contract na ito sa Pharmaly?
Wala po, Mr. Chairman.
Si Senator Bongo ba ang nag-utos nito na i-award sa Pharmaly?
Hindi po, Mr. Chairman. Wala pong nag-utos.
Si Senator Bongo ba kinausap ka na paboran any supplier?
Sir, wala po mula nung nang ako po ay umupo na chief implementer. Ang kadalasan tinatanong lang sa akin ni Senator Bongo at saka po ng ating mga presidente ay kamusta na ang PPE.
So walang directive kay Senator Bongo. I just want to make it on record.
Yes, sir. No, sir. None, sir.
Basically, Mr. Chair, Bayanihan 1 allows the President to simply look for a supplier, pay, and get the receipt. This is what we're trying to establish. First, we were able to establish there was no overpricing. Second, we need to come up a laudable conclusion that the purchase was in accordance with the law.
Bago kami nagsimula, iniguro ni Chairman Aguinaldo sa amin, wala pong overpricing. Ang pagpapatuloy ng pagdinig ng Senado ay katibayan lamang na hindi naniniwala ang Senado, particularly ang Blue Ribbon Committee, sa COA. Hindi ba ganun ang ating magiging conclusion, Madam Auditor?
Nasasayang po yung oras ni Secretary Duque and all the others sa General Galvez. Nasasayang po yan sa mga hearing sa Senado at sa Congress.
President of the Republic of the Philippines, we must give due respect to the Commander-in-Chief and to our President. And I take offense in the Senate. Nalulungkot lang ako, lahat na lang hearing dapat tungkol sa DOH, DBM. Napunta tayo sa drugs. Kaya nga I had to resort and invite you to counter what the Senate is doing to destroy our President. Because they are doing it, might as well here I put it in the other matters to rebut their theory.
Now, the health minister in Brunei said Japan will donate 100,000 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine to Brunei. Take a look. Now, this will give or pave the way for the Sultanate to reach its 70% vaccination goal by the end of the year. During his daily press briefing, YB Dato Dr. MD Isham H. Jafar said the donated COVID-19 vaccines are expected to arrive at the end of this month. In addition to China's contribution of 100,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine on Sunday, the donated vaccines from Japan would allow Brunei to resume first-dose jabs after suspending it for 2 weeks due to a vaccine shortage. In a press statement, the Japanese embassy said the donated AstraZeneca vaccines were produced in Japan and expects these vaccines to contribute to Brunei's 70% vaccination target. Kick-flipping Thai skateboarders are flipping the bird at authorities joining pro-democracy rallies in Bangkok to vent their anger over a lack of respect and dedicated public space for extreme sports in the kingdom. Let's take a look.
สนามฟุตบอลเนี่ยมีเกิดเลยแต่ในประเทศไทยเนี่ยสเก็ตเนี่ยต้องแบบไปแอบเล่นอยู่ใต้ทางด่วนแอบสร้างอุปกรณ์กันเองเล่นที่ไหนก็ไม่ได้ไถบนฟุตบาทก็ไม่ได้โดนด่าไปไหนก็แบบเสียงดังจังบูลลี่อะไรเนี่ยครับแล้วมันก็เลยแบบเกิดความสงสัยที่แบบเกิดอะไรขึ้นกับประเทศไทย
ที่เราออกมาตรงนี้ก็เพราะว่าเราไม่ต้องการรัฐบาลชุดนี้โดยการที่เราจับเป็นกีฬาประเภทชนิดนี้ออกมาเพื่อเรียกร้อง
Alma and I will be back after this short break.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision-making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Ito ang tahanan. Ikaw, ako, tayo. Sama-sama, nagtutulungan, nagdadamayan, nagmamahalan. Bitbit ang mga impormasyon pang pamilya, pang sambahayan. Kasama ninyo para sa masaya at makabuluhang kakwentuhan sa umaga. Ito ang tahanan.
Ang resolusyon na ito ng IATF ay pinagtibay din ng ating Pangulo.
Paano ba natin mapapanatili ang ating pagiging malikhain?
Taong 1913, na-invento ni Harry Burley ang stainless steel.
Nako, bago tayo magbabakuna, kailangan maaliw namin kayo kasi alam namin yung iba, afraid magpabakuna.
Itong mga...
Mula sa Net25, Radyo Agila, araw-araw. Tara na all!
Ikaw
Please catch me in Letters and Music on air and online this Saturday, September 18th between 1 to 2 p.m. only in Net 25. See you!
Welcome back. Cash sent home by Filipino migrant workers hit its highest level for the year in July as overseas Filipino workers or OFWs continue to defy expectations and retain altruistic trends amidst the pandemic. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP reported on Wednesday that remittances to the country hit $2.856 billion in July this year, growing by 2.5% from its level last year. Broken down, the increase in cash remittances was due to the growth in remittances from land-based workers and sea-based workers, which rose by 1.6% to $2.308 billion and 6.9% to $545 million, respectively. The strong July performance of remittances pushed the country's cumulative cash remittances higher by 5.8% to $17.771 billion in the January to July period this year from $16.802 billion registered in the same period last year. According to the BSP, the growth in cash remittances in the first 7 months of 2021 came mainly from the United States, Malaysia, and South Korea. Meanwhile, in terms of country sources, the U.S. registered the highest share of overall remittances at 40.4% in January to July 2021, followed by Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Japan, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, South Korea, Qatar, and Taiwan.
Now, gains in the vaccination program of countries where overseas Filipino workers are along with economic recovery around the world are expected to further boost remittance growth in the Philippines. Now, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas on Wednesday reported a 2.6% year-on-year growth of remittances last July to $3.167 billion, while year-to-date expansion stood at 6% to $19.783 billion. In a report, ING Bank Manila senior economist Nicolas Mapa said last July's remittances growth is surprising and impressive given that this was the highest non-December level recorded, with the funds sent home in July matching that which is usually sent home during the holiday season. The local currency closed at the 49 level on Wednesday, but it has weakened to the 50 level these past few days on growth concerns due to the pandemic, among others. He said with job losses remaining up and the economy still weak, remittances is expected to accelerate to pick up the slack and boost local spending.
In other news, Indonesia will have produced electric cars no later than May 2022. This is according to the investment minister, concurrently head of Investment Coordinating Board, Balil Lahadalia. Lahadalia delivered a statement at the groundbreaking ceremony of Hyundai Motor Group and LG Energy Solutions electric vehicle battery cell factory construction in Karawang District, West Java on Wednesday. Furthermore, he informed that the production of electric cars was investment by Hyundai Motor Group worth $1.55 billion or equivalent to 21 trillion rupiah. Although the COVID-19 pandemic has surged since 2020, the South Korean company is still able to realize its investment. Furthermore, in addition to constructing the electric car factory, the corporation manufactures battery cells. The factory is planned to have a production capacity of 10 gigawatt hours that will supply the electric vehicles produced by Hyundai.
A retired Boeing passenger jet has been hauled to the top of a seaside cliff in Bali to lure Indonesia's coronavirus-hit holiday island. More than a dozen workers used cranes to assemble the parts of a Boeing 737 on a cliff near the Nyang Nyang beach this week. The Felix Demin, the plane's new owner, is planning to convert the aircraft into tourist accommodation and expects it will become a popular photography spot. Take a look.
Because of COVID was struggle, the Bali no tourists, it was locked down for almost 2 years now. And I will make an icon for and showing the hope the tourists will back here in Bali. And I always think a little bit outside of the box and was see this plane was parking on Pandawa already December on the pieces, and they plan to sell it to China. And I was thinking, I want to these planes continue be served to people in Bali. Yeah, and thinking what the location it can be. Plane to bring, it was not that long, it's about 1 week, but it was 2 months preparation for this. Get all the permits for pass through all the roads, all the banjars and villages, about the agreement from the police for we can do it, and they escort us as well. All the permits to be done, it's a lot of...
We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Ang trabaho naman talaga ng maritime group ng PNP is to enforce the maritime laws.
Tayo lang yung stricto, pero in other parts of the country, pwede na naman ang tourism.
Definitely, we are ready to respond to a possible spike.
Sapagkat ang aming intensyon ay makatulong lang sa mga tao na wala talagang magamit na gamot.
92 voted for this resolution, which will make it stronger, calling on the Justice Department to come up with more stringent ways to be able to avert these hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Mas marami po tayong magagamit ngayon na mga tools or mga equipment.
Maraming salamat, Weng, at sa buong puwersa ng Balitalakayan sa pagkakataong ito.
Tatalakayin ang mga pangunahing balita live sa teleradyo ng Net25 at Radyo Aguila DCEC 1062. Kasama si Weng de la Fuente sa...
At itong Balitalakayan will live in interesting times.
Welcome back. And now, here's an exclusive interview with Film Hollywood actor Kian Talan by MJ Ricardo. Let's watch this.
Hi, MJ Ricardo here. NCIS Hawaii just around the corner. We had an exclusive interview with up-and-coming Hollywood actor Kian Talan. Let's find out.
A very brainiac, because you had the degree in computer science. Does it really help you being part of this character, or is it totally opposite?
Totally opposite. And
why so?
So my character Alex is very smart, but what you'll see in season 1 is him changing and dealing with a bunch of changes that come into his life. So for instance, you'll see Vanessa play basically a single mom, and you'll see Alex kind of fighting between feeling neglected between his two parents because his dad is distracted with something else, which you'll find out in season 1. And then there's basically a lot of changes that my character has to deal with and doesn't make the best choices. So you'll see me kind of rebel a little bit. Everything's kind of fast paced right now in terms of moving and getting these episodes done, getting them right. We're portraying a culture, not only a Filipino culture, but also Hawaiian culture. So there's a lot of factors into that. But going with the punches every day, learn something new, getting to meet incredible people who are just as passionate as I am about the craft and the work. And so I'm really excited to see the final thing.
You know what I think? This is a crime scene. Jane Tennant, Special Agent in Charge, NCIS Hawaii.
Special Agent Tennant, top of your class at FLETC. Only agents received the Medal of Merit 3 times.
Let's go, Warriors, let's go!
It's hard being a mom.
I need you to finish dinner and get your sister to bed on time.
Why do I have to babysit?
Federal agent! Because I'm not going to be up that late. Ernie, what do we got?
Just the kind of puzzle that gets my circulation going. Social media went dark a few weeks ago.
Are you able to activate it?
Yes.
The only lead we have is a name.
I gotta do this one alone.
Look, you're new, but we work as a team.
I'm local. People will talk to me. I'm here so that other cops won't be. Allow me to impress you. People are paying attention to this. One wrong move could bring your whole team down with you.
This case just got a lot more complicated. We compile a list of high-value targets on the island. Light them up.
Our pleasure, boss.
Robberies, murders, massive explosions. When exactly does the solving the crime part come in?
Just going where the case takes me, Captain. When anyone on my team is in trouble, I'm the first call.
I thought this was just gonna be a job, but I've realized that it's a lot more.
We're practically family here.
And it's just the way I do things, cause it's a jungle out here when the moon fades.
That is it for a showbiz update. Keep tuning in to Eagle News. I'm Jerry Ricardo here. We live in interesting times.
Thanks, MJ, and thank you, Esther, for joining me today, keeping me company as always. Stay safe.
Thanks, Alma. And that is the latest news here in Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. From Land of Smiles, I'm Esther Roda Odanga, and we live in interesting times.
We'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.
I need you to finish dinner and get your sister to bed on time.
Why do I have to babysit?